People assume I built a trading product because I wanted to predict stocks. I already knew that wasn't fully possible, and that wasn't really how it started anyway. I was trying to solve a problem in my own life. I wanted a disciplined way to manage my own portfolio without changing my mind every time the market moved, without emotion. It was almost like building my own small rotating fund, a system that could decide when something deserved attention, when it deserved a position, when the risk no longer made sense, and when I should simply do nothing. The basic idea sounded reasonable. Of course, smooth out some of the market noise. Look for meaningful changes in direction. Buy when the evidence improved enough. Sell when momentum faded, risk increased, a stop was reached, profit needed protection, or just another opportunity became more compelling. Right? But the moment I tried to build that, the simple idea became a serious engineering problem. So I pulled this old calculus book off the shelf that I've owned for almost 20 years. Not because the market follows a clean equation, it truly doesn't. But calculus and a lot of engineering fundamentals gave me a way to think about change, slope, acceleration, a curve moving down before it turns, the difference between movement and a meaningful change in momentum. And that was the part I really cared about. Could a computer program detect these transitions across individual stocks consistently without me staring at the charts all day like I used to? So I started building Jupyter notebooks. At first, each notebook answered one question. Could I calculate this exact behavior I was looking for? Could I identify when the move was strengthening? Could I identify when it was losing force? And could I separate a real change from ordinary noise? Then one equation became 5. A signal might look good, but where did it rank against everything else? A stock might qualify, but did I already own too much? A position might be profitable, but was the reason for holding it beginning to weaken? A new candidate might appear, but should it replace something already in the portfolio? And if nothing qualified, could the system simply just say no? That last one matters more than people think. A system that always produces an answer is not necessarily useful. Sometimes it is just forcing activity. So I wanted the program to be allowed to say nothing changed enough today. Leave things alone. That meant I was not building just one buy indicator. I was building a collection of entry conditions, exit conditions, ranking rules, risk checks, position logic, and review steps that all had to work together. Some nights I would look up and realize it was just 4 in the morning already, and the same kind of scene over and over. A notebook open, charts everywhere, jam bands playing in the background, one more experiment, one more timing change, one more attempt to understand why a signal worked in one market condition and failed in another. Sometimes I thought I found the right combination. Then I would test another period and discover that I only found the next problem. And that's what real work really looks like. It's not one magical breakthrough. It's years of small corrections building up to make a greater project. A signal engine, a ranking system, a backtest mechanism, portfolio rotation, a position sizing, a risk handler, a data checker, a test harness, and a review process that a human could actually understand outside of just myself. So eventually, I began operating versions of the system in my own account. And that was really important to me because, a backtest can look very impressive and still hide bad assumptions. Real use is different. You have to live through the quiet periods, the bad trades, the changing markets, your own impatience, and the temptation to override the process. I made plenty of mistakes, and at times I took positions that were too large. I changed ideas that needed changing. So not every trade worked, but the process did. And over roughly 5 years of actual use, it became something I relied on to organize decisions. And this was the moment that I really started to truly understand I had built something more than just my own research project. The value of that was not that the system could guarantee where a price could go. It really can't. The value was that it gave me a consistent way to identify situations where the evidence had shifted, decide what deserved priority, control how much risk I took, and recognize when the original reason for holding something was weakening. Years later, of course, AI became part of the engineering workflow. It helped me write, inspect, refactor, test, and operate code faster. But AI didn't invent the original question. It didn't spend those years deciding what the system should measure. The research, the architecture, the mistakes, the signal ideas, and the operating rules came first. But of course, AI accelerated the work after the hard questions already existed and were mostly solved. Eventually, this system became Mount Inflection. The newsletter wasn't an original idea. It's just the interface to everybody. It's a way to take a large amount of scheduled market data, signal state, rankings, open position, exits, and risk information, and compress it into a review that another person could inspect. The system does not remove the uncertainty involved in all of this. It just creates a disciplined way to face it. And that is probably the lesson I would give to a younger engineer or trader today. Don't begin by asking how to build the product. Begin with the problem that you want to solve. Break it into those pieces, build the first imperfect version, test it against reality, let the failures change the design, keep the parts that survive, and years later, you may look back and realize the project became much larger than the first question. And that's exactly what happened here. And what came out of that effort was an entire market review system. And I'm still working on it, and I don't plan to stop.